All right, I promised a mailbag episode. I'm going to answer all kinds of audience questions from here on Instagram. Is PSA getting too powerful? Will SGC ever come back to life? Is grading modern cards still worth it? Are breakers good for the hobby long term? What's the biggest hidden risk in the card market right now? Are we in a bubble again? I don't know. I got like 15 of these. I'll go through as many as I can, as fast as I can, because I'm a pretty fast talker. Is PSA getting too powerful, or is this just capitalism working? It is capitalism working. Capitalism is the closest thing to capitalism is nature. But even in nature, sometimes like kudzu or an invasive species, you have to intervene and like save an entire, state from disaster or losing trees and everything. And I think like the hobby is interestingly placed right now. It's self-run and self-regulated, and there's just not a lot of oversight or much there, and that's okay. It's been okay for 40 years or 100 years, however the hobby has been, but PSA is becoming big. They got 92% of grading, and they've really control the whole market. They control liquidity, they control the premium values, because the PSA 10 is the premium card. And I think in this case, even though I'm a libertarian, I'm going to say that PSA is getting too powerful, but I don't think government is the solution. That's like calling mom and dad and like telling on somebody. I think we are the solution. We have to self-govern and self-correct ourselves. I guess I'm talking like a libertarian, but like, if you don't like it, stop using them, and that will work. Capitalism will work that way. If they continue to provide positive expected value, then everybody's going to do it. If you can hand PSA $100 and they can hand you $150, it might take 6 months or a week or whatever, you're going to do it every time. You're going to add zeros to it. So, they are getting too powerful, but the only thing we can do is, just vote with our wallets. That's that. So it is capitalism working, and they're getting too powerful. Will SGC ever be a serious competitor again? I don't think so. SGC is PSA. I've actually, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I've got Mr. Steinberg, ex-SGC president. I'm going to talk to him in a couple of months. He wanted to lay low, but I'm hoping to get him on here. Talk about, obviously, he's not going to be able to say everything, but the things he can talk about. But they're just starved. They doubled the turnaround times for SGC. There's no innovation. I just don't see that. I do like SGC for some vintage things. It just looks better. Super easy to crack too. That's the easiest crack in terms of slabs. But I don't think that they're gonna be. They can't be, because PSA is the premium brand, unless they treat it like PSA is Neiman Marcus and Beckett is Walmart, and I don't know, SGC is just kind of like Target. I need to think of like a vintage parallel. You guys help me. So no, I think they're going to curb stomp SGC and Beckett, and I think it's just going to become PSA. And I do think somebody else is going to come along though. Like PSA is getting so cocky, like Blockbuster in the 90s. Late fees, I don't care about late fees. Stick it to them. Everybody hated those things, and we still paid them, and Blockbuster just didn't care. Same thing with upcharges and stuff. I think PSA, I don't know. So answer is no. Is grading modern cards still worth it in 2026? Hell yes, they are. Hate to say it, if you want to get the most value out of the card, eyeball that thing. Get a loop, look at the centering. Looks good. There's actually a little centering tool you can buy on eBay for like $10. Just Google, I don't know, card centering tool. It's pretty cool. And I've actually, one really cool trick I've done with that thing. I'll take a picture. If somebody has done a very good scan of a card, like it's from PSA registry, and they list it on eBay, I'll actually pull it up on eBay and I'll put it in a Word document, and I will put it to exact scale of the card. And then I will put that centering template that you can find on eBay right over that screen. 9 times out of 10, I can really, I can lock down 10 centering at the very least on that. Surfaces, edges, whatever, but it's a cool little hack. So yes, grade them if the value of the graded card outweighs the cost of grading, shipping, insuring, and the time, because you've got to factor in the time players do this with performance, and time value of money as well. Especially now, it's like we're talking years for some cards. I have cards at PSA I probably won't see till next year. Are breakers good for the hobby long term? Ooh, you guys aren't gonna like this answer. Gosh, okay. The breakers provide a ton of liquidity to the market. They also provide a lot of trash to the landfills. That's something that concerns me. I'd almost like to see it be revamped. Like if we don't really care so much about base cards, maybe reduce the base cards by 50% because they're getting chucked, and then maybe increase the number of cards or other things, or just increase the value ratio of the cards in there. Could be an interesting concept. But oh man, they brought a lot of new people into the hobby. People find it entertaining. I think it's cool to watch. I like learning about new products that way. They're not going anywhere, so it doesn't matter if you think they're good or bad long term. I man, if a gun to my head, I feel like we need breakers as well. We need shops, we need breakers. Repackers is a different story. I'm not so sure about that, but I think breaking is fine as long as it's ethical and there's just some more oomph to people watching it and making sure there's no shill bidding and things like that. But I do think I don't want to hate on it like, oh, they've destroyed the hobby. Like the hobby's doing fine. Like I do TTM, I collect cards. Like breaking doesn't really impact that. But like maybe I'm never gonna buy a flawless box. I'm just not in the mood for that stuff. I do vintage, but sometimes I like to go on and like see what's being opened, like some of the new stuff. I think it's fun. It's like, you know what it's like? A movie comes out in the theater and you get fun and excited about the movie. They go on Jimmy Fallon or whatever, and it's this big pump up for the movie. And then, a couple months later, all the stuff's half off at the movie theater, the towels and the little trinkets and stuff like that. That's kind of like the release cycles. Like I actually enjoy that the same way I like movie release cycles. Maybe not everybody's there with that, but please don't destroy me on that take. But I think they're okay long term. What's the biggest hidden risk in the card market right now? I think it is the pedestal that we put PSA on, man. What happens if like there's a massive scandal, like a massive one, like a grader of 20 years comes to me and it's just like, I've had it. I don't care about my NDA. We are doing all these bad things at PSA. Maybe that doesn't exist, right? Or what if, you start seeing more and more of these PSA 10s look like hot garbage and with, frazzled corners and things like that. PSA's image, if they start taking a ding, then the value doesn't, because like a lot of people are coming into the hobby and we have put PSA on the pedestal. We have no choice anymore. And so I don't know, we have to like rely on them. I think that's the biggest risk is like, what if they're not up for it? What if they can't handle capacity? What if they can't be as liquid as they need them to be for the hobby to run? I don't think they can. I don't think they can. They haven't proven it. They won't invest in infrastructure because they say we have FOMO when we're too unpredictable. I don't know. We're going on 5 years of predictable growth here, so I don't know if I buy that. Their operations are the biggest risk. Are we in a bubble again? I don't think some stuff is in a bubble, like the stock market. Some things are in a bubble, some things are not in a bubble. You could just look around at certain behaviors. Usually when there's a bubble, you'll see increased fraud and increased action and media attention. So make sure Google Trends is your friend. You can punch in certain terms into Google Trends and see what's trending and popping. And that's a helpful way to track noise. X is another one. ChatGPT and the LLMs are good for tracking sentiment. That can help you identify bubbles. But for the most part, I think the CAGR is like 10% plus for sports cards over the next 10 years. Nationals sold out every year. If I had $5,000 today, what would I buy? I would buy, that doesn't quite get me a Bill Russell rookie autographed card. That's like $10K. $5K, I'd bet I'd get the best graded Jordan 86 Fleer card I could with the best eye appeal. So maybe a 4, but have amazing centering, something like that. Sometimes they screw up and they might regrade like a couple grades higher, but I think just for a hold, I'm a hoops guy, I'm a vintage guy, that's what I would do. Modern, don't ask me. Oh, wow, this is a good one. Better investment, a vintage grail or 5 modern lottery tickets. Ugh. Investment, the vintage grail is more like a bond. It's very boring. You're going to get your coupon rate and there's a certain risk, and that's that. There's a certain growth rate and so on. But man, those lottery tickets are fun, right? Like those not penny stocks, but it depends on where you are in life. If you have money and you want to take a gamble, go with the lottery tickets. It could be a fun ride. And if you just want something you're going to hand down to your kids, then I would go with the vintage one. What's the worst financial mistake collectors make is they never think of the exit plan. Every time you buy a card, unless you're going to die with it, there's an exit plan. And even if you're going to die with it, you should have an exit plan. You should have it in your will, right? So you're going to exit this earth. You need an exit plan for your cards. That exit plan could be a week or a month or a year or 5 years or your death. But at some point you need an exit plan. And I think that is that's a mistake financial collectors are making. Why do collectors overpay at shows? It's exciting. It's the same reason you overpay for popcorn at a movie theater, or that Gatorade at the airport, or that in-flight Wi-Fi or something like that. You're a captive audience, and so by nature in economics, a captive audience is going to pay more. And I think that's just like a psychology thing. Is FOMO the real enemy in the hobby? Probably is not a great thing. FOMO, I was just saying PSA can't build infrastructure because of FOMO loops. It costs people a lot of money. I think more people lose money on FOMO than make money on FOMO. But it's not going anywhere. It's kind of like with stocks too. What's the most controversial thing that I believe in the hobby? So just so you guys know, I just threw these on a spreadsheet and I have done no prep for this. The most controversial thing that I believe is I think most repacks are carnival games. I think that 80% of the time people know what's in a repack, and especially on Whatnot, and I don't like that. I would go to other channels and other mechanisms for your repacks. Maybe that's controversial, maybe it's not. Wow, this is deep. What would make you quit YouTube? I don't know. This is like fun. I always wanted like a one-man band sort of radio show type of thing. I mean, maybe I'll get out the guitar sometime and start playing. I don't think I would. Maybe if I get more distracted by something else that's interesting. But I like Instagram for short form, and I like I like YouTube because I can talk about things for like 10 minutes, and I think that's fun. All right, I'm going to close this down with a lightning round. One card to hold for 20 years. Anything from a 52 mantle to a Jordan rookie, but more recent, start looking at like, the not quite vintage, like 2012 Prism was the first Prism year. It was a double or triple rookie year. Those are good cards. There's some good rookies in there, like Kawhi and stuff, AD, Damian Lillard, like a lot of Hall of Famers. I would get those cards autographed, get the highest grade you can, and just save them. Just sit onto them for 20 years. I think that's a good set. I think I've got the whole set raw. Most overrated card ever. 1984 Star Jordan. Ooh, don't kill me, guys. Don't kill me. Most underrated player right now. I don't do this. I don't do this game. I can't. I can't. All right, fine. What's that new guy on the Spurs? He's playing with Wemby. God, I pulled an autograph on card of his. Dylan Harper. That's it. Dylan Harper. I think he's going to have a really good career with Wemby, and he's kind of, he's a guard. Guards do well. He's flashy. He could rip. I don't know. Don't go buying him based on that. Please do not take my advice and buy his cards. But I'm answering these questions. If grading disappeared tomorrow, what happens? If grading disappeared tomorrow, the hobby would crater. It would look like 1929. It would be like nuts. It just would not be something we can handle. Is wax ripping gambling? Define gamble. It's like if you roll dice, is that gambling? If you flip a coin, if you break a wishbone at Thanksgiving dinner to get a wish, is that gambling? Packs have odds, and packs are audited. Fanatics came out and they've had their stuff audited by a major firm, making sure everything's random. So I feel like wax is what's inside the pack is fair. When you talk about vintage, there's a lot of stuff that's not fair because you'll get like an 86 Fleer box that, like behind me, and they'll yank 3 Jordans and then they're not opening the rest of the pack. So it's getting slabbed and sent off. So that could be unfair and a bit like gambling. But I think there's odds. They're posted. I don't know. It's more like a sweepstakes, I guess. rather than gambling. Let me know what you guys think. Like, is opening wax gambling or not? And that's it. If you want to do another one of these, maybe in a couple months, let me know. Throw some questions down in the comments, and we'll do it. Thanks, guys.